Yeah, Dylan Morgan here with Barkboard publisher Jackson Moore, as always, for one final Bulldog breakdown of the football season. Fresno State has just fallen 28-20 in double overtime to NIU. Let's just talk about initial reactions after a loss to cap off the 2024 campaign.
Yeah, it was a game unlike anything we've seen, with all the transfer portal exits, all the new players stepping up. We got to see both of the young quarterbacks play, and in the end, this game felt a lot like a lot of the other ones that have been played out by the Bulldogs all year long, unfortunately. So it seemed like this game, even more so than past ones, they had a chance to get the win between the field goal, a few opportunities throughout the first three quarters to get some extra points, and unfortunately, they couldn't get it done.
No, and then in that too, Dylan Lynch, 3 missed field goals in that. How much of a part do you obviously think that played into Bulldogs ultimately not being able to clinch it down the stretch?
Yeah, it's big, unfortunately, especially because he came into this game about 79-80% on his career. You just don't see him miss 3 field goals like that. First one from 49 was a tough one. Would have been nice for him to make the one before halftime that they kind of got fortunate to get. And then the last one, definitely a 34-yarder. That was as good as a chance that the Bulldogs were going to get. They maybe could have gotten him a couple extra yards, but it was wide, not short. So that was a bummer, because that was probably the one area you didn't come into this game with any concern about, and it was definitely costly.
No, for sure. And then one positive thing, though, I think the quarterback play in this game, there was a lot of good things to take away from it. Talk to me about what you saw out of Jaden Mandel and Josh Wood under center today.
Yeah, I thought I saw some good things from Mandel early on, and obviously there was a reason they went with Wood in crunch time, but even so, I saw some bright spots from Mandel. But Wood, I felt, brought a different dimension. His legs were definitely a big part. It just felt like the offense was a little bit different with him. It felt like Mandel kind of took it where they were before and was able to run a lot of the same things, but Wood gave him a little bit of an extra spark. Came up big in overtime. If the Bulldogs would have closed out the win, there'd be a whole lot of praise coming his way for scoring in 3 plays, but I think you can see there's definitely a bright future between those two, and now we'll kind of wait around to see if Coach Ince brings them any more competition for next year.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking forward to now as well. Is there anybody in this game that you think really kind of maybe made a name for themselves or kind of raised their draft stock, so to speak, going into 2025 for the Fresno State Bulldogs?
I mean, Magdalena sure didn't hurt his case for the NFL. I think I was really focused on some of the younger players that got a chance in this game. I thought Loyal Muzan had some moments. He had a big pass breakup in overtime. This is a true freshman who's only played a few snaps before this game, so that's going to go a long way for him. And the quarterbacks, of course, they had a lot of opportunities in this one. So a lot of film for Coach Ince to look at, and some evaluations going into the spring.
For sure. And talk to me about your thoughts about just Tim Skipper coming through this whole year, kind of taking this whole thing on the chest, coming out here in the Potato Bowl, really fighting towards the end like we saw, and really just the entire time having that grace, that poise, and just that positivity about him, even when he could have obviously turned his back on this program.
Yeah, there were so many tough losses in this season, and he kept his head held high throughout it, kept a positive energy and attitude, and that's the thing. There's just so many crushing moments in the season, but also so few plays that could have made things so much different. You're looking at 2 or 3 wins away from him maybe being the guy, but I think as you leave this stadium and this game and the way that this season ends on such a sour note with losing another one in this style, it feels like it's about time for a fresh start, and Coach Ince is already on his way of getting that going. But big kudos to Coach Skipper for his effort and all the class that he had throughout this process.
Absolutely. So now kind of looking ahead to 2025, we keep talking about it. The Matt Ince era getting ready to start here. What are you kind of expecting kind of after this bowl game? Maybe transfers coming in, more guys signing. What's the vibes kind of going forward?
Yeah, he's got to get that coaching staff put together. There's, I think in the next week or two, we'll probably see a lot of names pop up there. A few coaches probably hanging around. Sounds like there could be as many as 4. So there will be still some of this past Bulldog era that will continue on, but excited to see who those new coaches are going to be, and they're definitely going to have to hit the portal hard. They've been sending out a lot of offers. They've got 3 commitments so far, and they're going to need probably more than 10 to kind of fill in the gaps from all the players they're losing. So a lot of work to be done there, and then we'll get to see spring practice, and there'll be a whole nother wave. We'll see the portal come back into effect, so it's going to be a very eventful offseason for sure.
Absolutely. 2025, the year of opportunity for Fresno State football. From Boise, Dylan Morgan for Jackson Moore. This is Sports Central.